Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here, and today I have a process video for 30 days of sketches, and we are playing with the sketch from the Scrappy Sisters. So to start out my layout, I have chosen several yellow and orange inks that I just showed at the beginning of the video, and I have a piece of watercolor paper here that I just sprayed with some water. I am going to take each of these colors and I'm going to make those blobs of color that the Scrappy Sisters have on their sketch. And so I am watering this ink down as well and there's water on my paper, and there is no technique to this. I'm basically just doing a wet on wet technique and just adding blobs of color. I don't consider myself to be very good at mixed media, but this is pretty simple in the fact that they are literally just that. They're just blobs of color. I do dab a little bit of this up because it is quite wet. I do dab a little bit of this up off camera, but we are just going to take each of these colors and add those blobs of color. When I started doing this one, I actually thought I was like, these are really close in color, but they do dry so that there is a difference in color. You will see that as we get going, or as the layout is complete. I can see a difference in the color. They are very, very similar, but I'm okay with that. And then my third color is definitely the brighter and more dominant orange. The one, there's like a really yellow, and then there's like an orange yellow, and then this definitely veers toward the orange. And so I am going to water this one down. This is the Distress Oxide. I am going to water down this one quite a bit. But as you can see, I am literally just throwing the color on. No real rhyme or reason. I do sop a little bit of this up. I think I left most of this in, so you could kind of see that there's really nothing too complex about this. There's actually nothing complex about this. It is pretty darn simple. Just add some water. I will say using watercolor paper is definitely a nice thing to use. My paper still warps because I do add quite a bit of water, but the watercolor paper does allow the water or the ink to move around a little bit, whereas if I just did this on regular paper, you definitely would want a gesso. But if you just did this on regular paper, it definitely sinks in, so you would definitely want to gesso it so you can move the ink around, but watercolor paper is a great choice for something like this. I find it really allows you to kind of play with it for a few minutes before it seeps into the paper. And as you can see, I've sprayed this quite a bit, so it is pretty wrinkled. I do put a whole bunch of heavy things on top of it and let it dry. And here you can see I've come back and my layout is dry, and I did back it on that very old piece of Amy Tan paper. The other thing I didn't show on camera, but when it was dry, I did add some spiced marmalade distress spritz, just overall to add a bit more color to the background. So really fun mixed media background for this one. I do really like it. And then I've pulled out my photos and the papers that I'm going to play with. Everything is pretty much from Amy Tan from the paper perspective. And these are my two photos. I know these are not super exciting photos, but I am working on documenting a trip to the zoo. And these were some photos, and you know what? They were, I had papers that were like the perfect colors that kind of worked with all the bits and pieces that I pulled. I have a whole bunch of Amy Tan papers that I'm trying to work through, and so I had these in my stash, so I thought, hey, these kind of match these snakes in these photos. Not that snakes are my favorite thing in the world, but we did see them at the zoo, so they are going in the book. So basically, once I had those photos matted, I don't, basically at this point when I put my mixed media down, I sort of stop comparing what I'm going to do to the inspiration sketch. So at this point, I see, like, you could say the 3 animals or embellishment clusters. I have my title at the top, so that kind of goes along with the sketch. But I'm going to have just 2 real embellishment clusters, one that's going to be up underneath that title, and then one that's going to be down here at the bottom of the page. And those are going to basically be the only embellishing areas on this page. I kept it really simple because the mixed media was added a lot of color and interest already. And I didn't have, like, because I'm working with a limited number of supplies, I really didn't have a whole lot of ephemera and bits and pieces that really matched kind of what I was going for. And so I've kind of going for I wouldn't call it monochromatic, but I'm definitely keeping it in that orange and yellow type family. So I kept it super simple, and there you see I did, when I went off camera, I did pop everything up on fun foam, so the photos and then therefore the title and the embellishment clusters are all lifted off the page with the fun foam. And so I did add that bit of dimension because, again, this is pretty simple layout, so I did want to add something to make it a bit more have a bit more dimension on the page instead of so flat. Basically, to finish it up, I have some gold mirrored hearts, and then I have these fun little enamel, they almost look like nail heads, I guess I want to say, or like little metal pieces. So I decided to put them on sort of like little metal pieces, and in a line instead of like doing 3 like I would normally with enamel dots. And that pretty much is going to do it for this page. In the description box below, I will have a link to everyone or the playlist for 30 Days of Sketches. And so be sure to go and hop along and go and check out the Scrappy Sisters on YouTube and see what they are creating. So with that, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.